So everyone, this is a live from the field, a light from the field while I am in my sunbathing thing, trying to find a position where I can speak to you and also be free. I really want to talk about the world of Tantra and sacred sexuality. So that's what this is about. And it's just a huge conversation, I was thinking the other day. So first of all, for those who follow my podcast, more podcasts are coming. I have some time to get those out and share them now. Things where they just weren't on the top of that share. So this is not about me, but trying to excuse me, trying to share about the world of Tantra and sacred sexuality. And so I've been working and offering this world of sacred sexuality for quite a while, and I've really challenged by the way of which I have to turn up, which is in the world of what we see in Tantra and sacred sexuality. It's all about like being sexy, and being sexy and being exposed, and what else is in there? Being exposed and being like, look at me, I'm sexual, and actually that, like, I think that's great. I really think it's great, but it's like there's so much more than that with sexuality. And so like I'm in the middle of a field now, and I'm with myself, and for me, my sexuality is about being able to be free in my body. So that's the first one, is like being free in my body. So being able to feel comfortable in my body. Yeah. And then there's being comfortable in your body around others. And then there's comfortable in your body around your partner. And it's just an absolutely huge conversation. And for me, like, if you reflect into, follow me a long time or short time, but if you reflect into my social, it's not the main thing I talk about, like sexuality, and I actually think I probably can't even say this word on Instagram, so hopefully this doesn't get like shadow banned because of it, which is really annoying. But like, let's call it I don't know, for the rest of the talk, what can I call this? I don't know, the divine connection. Okay, we're going to call it the divine connection. And so I was chatting to someone the other day, and they were asking me, around, there's a beautiful bee here on the iris. They were asking me about my path of being sexual, and oh my god, I just used the word, damn it, it's so hard not to use the word, but they asked me about my path, about being in this work. And I suppose for me, this work became part of my life because I just had this awareness that, like, I was just really, I'm going to use the word with my partners, like really able to tap into something that others weren't. And in that tapping in, I realized that this is what we call the world of Tantra. And like, Tantra is about like your own self first, and then sharing it with others second. So maybe some people will know like the Kundalini, the Shakti energy, divine union, any of those. And for me, like having those experiences that really are full body orgasmic experiences. And then having those full body orgasmic experiences with other partners. That's just a layer of that, it's lovely to see lots of my sisters jumping on here. Hello. That's another layer of it. But being tantric with the world and yourself is about actually allowing this pleasurable experience come in to your being and to come into your field, and allowing yourself to be in this orgasmic state with not only yourself, but with the nature, with life, with partners. And so for me, I suppose my path of that is that, like, if one can step into allowing surrender and receiving, that becomes the pathway. And we have to open all our channels. So, like, we have our chakra system, which is something that a lot of people understand. And in that chakra system, like, if you're stuck in one of the areas, it's just not a way of being able to utilize that energy and to allow the energy to flow all the way through you, all the way through your crown chakra, out and in, through your root. And with your partners, like, that is it, and so, like, first of all, like, self masturbation comes into it. Like, if you're not able to touch your own body and pleasure yourself, you're not really in this human body. You might be very able to connect in with the energy of tantra and the energy of sexuality. I'm not very good at not saying that word now, but look, let's just hope this is okay. Then you really can't tap in to what's possible. And so being an embodied tantrika, which is maybe what we're trying to get to here, does mean, going through your own body channels. And if you can really feel liberated around people, around your partner, and feel safe when it is safe to do so, this is kind of like what's the word, a point where you can go, okay, yes, something is good, something is progressing. Not that good is the right word, but, and what we do is, if we're feeling stuck, then we go, okay, that's stuck, and for me, with the tantric path, it's very much so pleasure seems to be such the one. Like, desire comes into it really big, but, like, if you don't allow pleasure, which means you have to learn to receive. Yeah, if you're not receiving and you're always giving, you're just not helping the world. Like, you have to be a receiver. And that's not like taking, that's in the world of consent. Like, it's not just taking. Like, there's good taking, but there's not just taking all the time. It's about, like, circulating that energy. And yeah, and I find out the words quite hard to navigate sometimes, because I don't want to put a full emphasis on divine union with other. But divine union with other is kind of like the fundamental wave changer for the world, because when we start to, like, really trust the other, and we can really, allow that energy on a physical and energetical and emotional and spiritual wave to be there, we can really give ourselves over fully to the energy that is really accessible to every single human. And when it's out of balance, that's when maybe we might have too much desire for one thing, or too little desire for another, or too much give in one area and too much take in another area. And I suppose to reflect into my own relationships a bit more to help this conversation, like I found that, you know, just like it just blows me away actually, like after, you know, a whole lifetime of being so connected in with the sacred divine union, trying to not say that word, I have found that, like, you know, allowing more so than Kundalini, because like Kundalini is a good word, but like, you know, allowing more so this what's the word here I'm trying to say, like, you know, allowing, yeah, it's like, it's basically when we start to submit to understanding the other has their own magic. And when we, for me, I have some deep accessibility to access a DMT state, so a psychedelic state, I suppose, when I'm in a tantric place or a deep meditation place. And this place is when I have to give over to trusting to the other, and I have to give over to trusting in the energy beyond me and the other. And in this place, this is where the divine magic of all sorts happens. And here I find is the hardest place, because that's when our mind has to be completely absent, you know. I'm going to speak to one time I was at this workshop with one of my teachers, which is Shawnee Love, if you know him. And I was doing a training with him, a training I don't really talk about because it's a big judgment of people how they would view it unless they understand it, and a teacher training. And I basically was there and I was having this connection with two others, and in that connection with the two other people, I could really feel like the energy was, I was really in it. It was an amazing experience we were having. And it was like kind of shape-shifting is something that I would definitely tap into. And with the shape-shifting was happening is I noticed at one point I'm losing my sense of human, okay? And when I was losing my sense of human, a state of fear came in, okay? Why did the state of fear come in? Let me try and move this now, because I need to move and I'm not wearing any clothes. Let me see here. Let me see. Okay, maybe this is better for now because I'm a little bit uncomfortable. So the state of human, and basically in that state of human, let's see. In that state of human, like I basically, you know, could feel this fear coming into me, because I was like, oh fuck, like, you know, I had these two people, we were in a certain position, and we know we were in a room full of people doing all sorts of things. Like we're talking like full power, you know what I mean? Like we're talking like full on nudity, full on sexual actions, full on everything. Everything was welcome in that room. And I remember feeling in that moment like, this is amazing, this is great what I'm doing. I don't want to give too much details here, but what happened was I was like, oh, I actually have to stop because I'm losing sense of self. Now, losing sense of self is not a problem, but losing sense of self when you're not 100% who you're sitting with or losing yourself with is a problem, because if you don't know them, you don't know their story, you don't know their full 100% agenda or their experience, losing yourself in that union with these two other beings, I was like, okay, like I actually could do anything now. I could do anything. I could, you know, we were obviously having a 3-way sexual experience at that time, and you know, if I lost myself in that, you know, I'm sure it would have been amazing, but I didn't want to, because I had this moment where I was like, well, actually I don't want to, say for example, have penetration, or I with this person, or I didn't know their history, or I didn't have a deeper conversation with them in advance, or whatever it was. So this is like quite elaborate conversation here. And in that conversation of energy exchange, I felt I had to stop. I didn't want to stop because it was great, but I had to stop because if I had pushed through and just said, time, like, let it go, whatever, just trust this and go for it, it could have been great, but there could have been a sense of regret there, and there could have been a lack of consent, and there could have been a lot of different things that could have happened. And I knew from my awareness and my line of knowledge with trauma that was not what I needed to do at that time. It was like that, I'll receive this gift another day. And so I had to pull back from that three combo that we were in, and with these two people that I didn't know at all well, but I did have a really nice connection with. And so it just stayed there, and like we went off and we all did our own little things and expanded into other things. The reason I'm telling you that story is because with sacred sexuality and connection with union and being really open sexually and being able to be in rooms with people that are having, in inverted commas, I don't really know if I can use that word here, but like when multiple people are in one room doing these actions together in a consensual way, that I didn't feel like, there was nothing, like, for me that was really comfortable. It's been a very comfortable place, so like going back to kind of the start of this conversation, like I don't post like every second thing about like, ooh, you nearly saw my boobs. Not that I cared, but I just don't really want to be flashing on Instagram right now. So this is it. It's like you can control consistently about what, I'm going to have to go back in this video and see like, do they actually flash? But like, you have to take awareness. And for me, I realized like that's just been a really easy journey to be in these rooms full of people. This is not the only time that's happened. This has happened like many, many, many times, but it's not the end all and be all. Not everyone has to be in that room with other people in these actions. You don't have to have that liberation experience. For me, it wasn't a big deal. It's something that like I wasn't unfamiliar with. I was always very open sexually when I was younger, having three ways and things like that. So, and really being the one that was kind of instigating it. Like, so I was always just really open with possibility, I suppose. And it wasn't like a desire, like I have to have this and that's the way it is. It wasn't like that at all. It was more like, we can just do this. This is not a big deal. We can just be with many if we want to be with many. And I basically am sharing that because what I've experienced is like, I have been in all the different areas of sexual spaces, like clubs and parties and temples and conscious ones, non-conscious ones, all these different layers of these spaces. And what I realized, like, from being in them, I was like, these are all great. Like, I love just being around people that are like having a complete amazing sexual connection, like right next to me, and then I'm having a tea with someone else, or I'm drawing on my notebook. Like, for me, it's like no big whoop, or I'm getting a massage, just a normal body massage, and someone's getting whipped in the corner. Like, this is not big conversation that I normally talk about. But it has totally been my life, and I like kink and what else is there? Kink and, role play and all these things are like really great tools. Like if you're just like, if you have those desires and you think, wow, like I could really actually, I've never done that because I'm scared. Well, then maybe I would say go for them. But, you know, are they part of my weekly practice in life and whatever? Yes, no, sometimes never. You know, it's like, it's not the fundamental of my evolution, but it has been part of my evolution. Like, I can't deny that. And I suppose, like, that's kind of what I'm talking about, like being very physical body, able to be with your physical body in liberation. So, like, when I say I'm a liberation coach, it kind of covers everything. Like, you know, like, I don't know, your voice, your sexual self, your heart, your creativity, your work, your rights, your sovereignty, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's really like your liberation is your liberation to do whatever the feck you want. You know what I mean? And like, that's kind of, I need to show you these irises because they're just stunning for those people that are still here. Hello. And if anyone's questions, you know, throw them in here. It's way easier to talk to questions than to try and find the questions and answer them. Oh, this is a better view. So I kind of feel like, you know, being a liberated being does, if you're not liberated in your sexual self, then realistically you're not liberated, because you're liberated at 75% or less, because your sexual self is your liberation. Hello. You know, and like, I'm going to tap into like the plant medicine, for example. So, you know, like, I'm a herbalist and I have worked with plant medicine. I do work plant medicines. Again, it's not like the only pillar that's within my work, but, you know, I think, like, yeah, okay, going for a plant medicine journey is really beneficial, and you're going to get something, or a mushroom, you're going to get something from that, and something might open for you. But maybe the message, say, for example, in someone's thing is like, you know, I need to be more open in your sexual center. And like, you could keep going back to plant medicine, but like, are you really going to get that experience with your physical body? And so it could mean, you know, going home and investigating self-pleasure and masturbation. And I don't actually like using the word masturbation, but anyway, just to self-pleasure. And you know, do you even touch your body? Do you even feel sexual with yourself? You know, like, there's all these questions that come into, and I always throw it back straight to like being an animal and being primal and being free in that state with your body. And yeah, like, animals are just totally in a different, they don't use the mind. It's a primitive instinct. And, you know, when we kind of talk about tantra again, like, you know, it's like the Indian tradition, and, you know, you think of the sutras, and yeah, like, there's just so much there. There's just so much there. There's not just like one thing that is like the path. And like, I have posted a few different things about lineages, and for me, that's what I feel like, you know, my lineage is definitely a mystical sexual one. Like, there's no question about it, you know, like, and being a woman and a woman body person, having a full awakened Shakti Kundalini energy body doesn't mean I have to go around being all like, I'm so sexy. But I don't think I look sexy right now, but like, it doesn't really matter. But like, do you know what I mean? It's not like, you know, I can't even do that right now because it's so not my vibe. But like, it's just, it doesn't matter how it looks, it's how it feels. You know, it's how it feels. And I think this comes down to bliss, you know. And I had someone recently saying, like, what about having bliss? And I was like, wait a minute. Like, I actually live in bliss when possible. Thank you, Carol. Thanks for sharing. Hearts, enjoyed this beautiful sun. Yes, totally enjoying that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if any questions arise from this conversation later, please ask me, because it's much easier to share these things after. And basically, you know, coming back to my method to my madness is it's about like bliss, and like I'm just feeling like this iris, like look how fucking sexy this is. Like, this is a sexy plant. Like, how sexy is that plant? Like, does not anyone think like orgasm plant? So like the way it grows up and then it opens just totally reminds me of a yoni. And this flipping all the way around into the womb space. So we all have a womb, no matter who you are, energetic wombs for the male bodies. We all come for the womb. So this womb holds like this ancient, like, you know, like, like, I don't even know what that is. Like, what is that feeling? And that feeling is the place where we have to tune into. And then from that, you kind of, your whole being is illuminated. And, you know, going on that path to illumination is, you know, we have a lot of things in the world of the kind of Western tantric world, which is like, you know, movement, voice, breath, obviously body, and then the energy is kind of like the other thing that happens from all those things. And if you feel like you're not, you know, moving the body in a liberated way, in a kundalini way, if you're not opening your voice and being able to be like with your voice, and if you feel your heart is tight and you can't just expand it and feel like the sun enter and touch you in there, and you feel like your heart is closed up and you just can't open. And I've had all of these things where my throat was tight, my heart was tight, my yoni was tight, my womb was tight, my brain was tight, you know, and my soul was tight. Like, so it's not like, oh, I'm better than you if mine's open. It's like we all have them at different times, and often the sole reason of that is trauma. Like, so, you know, we hear this term trauma informed. I'm a trauma informed person. I work with trauma. I've been working with trauma actually I would say multiple decades now. And like, trauma is a fundamental key to unlocking that liberation with your sexual being, and to be able to be just like free in being allowed to feel pleasure, and being allowed to be in bliss, and to be allowed to surrender to receiving from others. Like, when I think of receiving from someone that you want to receive from, that is like kind of the fundamental of being amazing. Like, it's like, that is really good. And and like, there's just so much in this. I find like I'm gonna have to have some people to chat with, because it's way easier to actually chat about this to someone rather than for me to like just give you one line, because it is loads. I have one interview there about the sexual voice in my link in bio, and I will have some more podcasts coming out. And I just felt like so deeply that, you know, to share, like, please connect in with your sexual being, and please, you know, get fucking liberated. Can I say that here? Because if you don't, you know, the world is not liberated. And when you're liberated, you kind of tend to step out of the system, and you are liberated in your you know, divine, some lovely bugs around here sunbathing, and you're liberated in yourself. Like, everything comes to life, and you see things a lot more clearer, and your intuition is tapped in more, and for others, they're super aligned to their intuition, but they're super disconnected from the sexuality. We all have a different place and a different path. So, you know, it's a sacred path for a reason, because each person has their own way of getting to the destination, and you know, honoring that destination really is the kind of key. If you do have any questions coming up around this, do ask me. I love that. I really love it. I'm really happy to share. And I don't share, you know, your question obviously affect other people. I'm not a big share of what my clients and people do. If you'd notice that about my pages, I don't really talk about any of my clients so much unless they have shared something they want to share publicly or whatever. And sometimes I might reflect on it, but it's not really something, I just don't do it. But so thank you for having me here. If you'd like to learn more about that tantric liberation world, connect in. I am doing a group container. It hasn't been defined yet, but if you're like, I would absolutely love to work with this woman and be fucking liberated and ooh, look at my hair, then tune in and ask me, what could that look like? And this is a mystic path, so it's not like, we just, we're all mystics. You all can be mystics if you want to be, and you have a choice to tune into your mystic, and that's kind of this work is what it's about. Much love, everyone, from the irises. Ooh, I have a shaker here. Let's do some of that before we leave you. Here. Okay, let's see what we have here. Allowing our root to be rooted. Allowing the root to be rooted. And when we feel that root, we can start to feel the rest of our being. That root allows trust. The word success jumped in, and the why I feel the word success is important here is because we have success as a different view all the time, and I believe that success is when you feel satisfied, harmonied. So I invite you to welcome your success, because the superficial materialism of world can be a bit of a success, but there's so much more. Blessings to you all. Aho. Thank you, so many coming in, staying, and leaving. Thank you. See you all again. Have a good day. Catch the full thing. Shlanta. Bye.